My name's Ryan Burch, and I'm from Vista, California. Whenever I draw an eyeball on a surfboard, it's kind of like out of respect to all the people's boards who I've looked at and psyched on little things and incorporated into my own design. Like nothing is entirely like, it didn't come out of like the universe and come to me and it's totally my own thing. Like it's because I got to see so many surfboards over the years. Influences are my dad, my brother, Greg Sarich, he shaped my boards as a Grom, and Rich Pavel, Carl Ekstrom, Derek Hynd, Richard Kenvin, Derek Disney. Him and I would like share a shop and I would show him little things and he would show me how quickly he understood them and how well he was able to execute them, and how much of an eye he developed for things really like helped push me to look at what I was doing, not just like freak out and do it as some sort of like aerobic exercise. And then down the line I met Bryce Young, and he and I spent a lot of time building boards together, so I taught him a lot and learned a lot from him and his dad, the way he approaches building things and getting the job done. And my nephew, Kobe Hughes, he's a big influence now. In turn, with teaching him things, he started giving me honest feedback, which was so valuable, like, because he was critical and he was able to see something not as something new, but something that we were trying, like a lot of different versions of and a lot of different like foils, and just helped a lot with refinement. Here in Indonesia, it makes me think of Michael Narchi, who was spending a lot of time out at the G-Land camp when I first went over there riding fishes, and he was like my first person I saw like really pushing the fishes in person to like be as like step-up boards and just like really handle powerful surf. The first board I ever shaped was a 9.5 pintail log. What I learned from that first board is that I really loved shaping it and I really loved creating the board. I glassed it too, and I'd always done a lot of painting and art in high school, and after I made that first board, like all the creative energy had shifted to making surfboards. Like it was everything that I was living for summed up into one like sort of craft. You can solve all the problems you have in the water by what you're able to shape in the shaping room, and elevate your connection with wave riding and to surprise yourself and ride something that you just sweated over just makes the experience that much better. I feel like my breakthrough was when I came up with the idea to make myself 40 ASIM shortboards, because I was getting a surfing salary and I was about to travel a lot and I didn't want to have to go home and shape a new quiver to go again. I was kind of doing that, like 5 boards, and then I'd take off and go try them, and then I'd come home and make 5 new ones, and I wanted to go around the world, so I made myself 40 and stuck 13 of them in 2 board bags and flew through Jakarta to come here, because it was like when you could only bring 3 boards into Bali. And I got to G-Land and had like 15 boards at G-Land, and that was the start of the trip. And I learned so much from making all those boards, and so much time in the shop, like really grinding out and like getting laser focused with it and just like doing things as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible. I always call it speed art, but it's kind of like this thing where once you develop a shaping style and you're moving through things like quickly, then things really start to come out in like your own way, and they start to look like your board and you're doing. And at the end of it, I wanted to sell all those 40 and make like 80, because I knew I could do it in the same amount of time, but instead I just wrote them all, and I don't think there was enough customers out there to buy like 40 super chippy little goofy foot ASIMs at the time. it was when people were like, what the hell is that thing, you know? Nowadays, maybe I could do that, but at first it was kind of like, people were like, dude, you're tripping. Like, what? Why do you even, like, people didn't get it, you know? I feel like me and my friend Bryce were like proving him everywhere and talking about him in person a lot to people, but it took someone like Mikey, where everyone was familiar with his shortboard surfing, to see that his rail surfing was just tuned in and sharp and quick, you know? And it was subtle, because like he hammers it on a shortboard too, but people were able to pick up on it, and that like really sparked a lot of interest in him. It was kind of a funny time too, because Bryce just released his movie, and it was like all these banger clips of Bryce doing his thing on the boards, and like I call it a really evolved approach, because I've made boards for him for so long, and he's just so familiar with them. He treats them like shortboards a little bit, you know, like he just grabs them and goes as hard as he can and expects them to do what he has had them do in the past. And he kind of did that from day one, because he watched me ride him and kind of was like, okay, that's my starting point, and I'm gonna put my skill set into this board and take it to the next level. And then when Mikey jumped on him, the clips of him were in Mexico and repeater, and it, like, to me, some of the clips look like he was still like getting feedback from the board, like he was like not stretching out all the way, and that was the first batch, but they clicked for him and he was stoked on the feels he got. And so when I got to make him another batch, I was like, oh, and like this part of the nose is used to like keep it planing no matter what you do. So it'd be interesting to see how you go with like really like stomping your front foot into the front of the board and trying to use that too. And these little things that I would mention to him, he would just pick up on, and then next clip I would see him like just pushing even harder on his front foot and stuff. And yeah, it's just was a trip to see that. And then Steph and making them for Caity too, like their styles are so adaptive and they're so like cat-like with the way that they surf, that the little element of speed, you could just see how they were just toying with it. I always feel like when we're talking about ASIM boards or fast, like performance twin fin boards, I always say that riding them is a bit like snowboarding down a steep hill. You're always looking for places to slow down as opposed to looking for places to speed up. When you're on a thruster, you're like, okay, I can hang here in the pocket and get so much speed that I can then do the trick I need to do. Whereas on like a ASIM twin fin in the same sort of wave, you're like, I've got so much speed right here, I'm about to burn out like 15 feet out into the flats, and then like, how am I gonna control that and still put it in some sort of like performance surfing rhythm that I'm familiar with and wanna do? And so that's what I want people to feel, is just that kind of like little bit of reckless speed and a ton of excitement from being able to go wherever they really care to go on the wave. You know, almost like the perfect board, just like the one that means the most to you, like the one that like conjures up the right emotions to where it just puts you in your own world and you like have a clear objective to like what you want to do in the water, and almost like an interaction with something that has its own mind, because you're really just a receptor to what the water thinks of the foil that you're on. So